Okay, so Salam will be starting our class now. But before we
Okay.
start, do you have any question regarding our last class?
It's. I would like to see. It's about animation and
Do you have any
transition.
question?
Do you hear me?
Oh my God, we've started. I can't hear what you're saying, but I can see you actually speaking, but I can't hear you. I don't know why this is always happening. I don't know if it is network or from Telegram. If you have any question, kindly drop it so that we can treat that before we move on to JavaScript. I can't hear you. I can't hear you, but then we'll be starting. If you have any question, kindly notify me inside the group chat
Okay.
so that we can treat that. So, moving forward, today we'll be starting with introduction to JavaScript. Now, what is JavaScript? Remember, JavaScript is one of the tools a front-end developer use to create a website, an application, or whatever it is. So, what is that JavaScript? JavaScript is it's about animation. Okay, let me see your question. It's about animation. I think after watching the recording of it. Okay, okay, animation and transition. Okay. Okay, after watching the recording, if you are still unable to fix it, kindly let me know. Kindly let me know. Yeah. So,
Okay. Okay.
all right, thank you. So, JavaScript is a very powerful, versatile programming language that enables interactivity and dynamic content on websites. It is an essential part of web development, often used alongside HTML and CSS. At the beginning of this class, we already mentioned what HTML, CSS, and JavaScript was briefly. So we said HTML is
Yes.
the bed, right? And we said CSS, we use that to style, and JavaScript is used basically to add functionality to websites. You will see that all the ones we've been able to do, all the rough practice that we've been able to do so far, we're just able to build it, create our structure, and also add some basic styling like the colors, fonts, background colors, add images, give images some animation, give buttons some transitioning and all that. That is what we've been able to do with HTML and CSS. Now, if we want to further add functionality to all these things we've done, we want to add some, real functionality, interactivity to all these we've done. That is when we will now bring in JavaScript. See, JavaScript is can be very tricky, right? But it is also very easy once you calm down and you understand the basic. Once you understand the basic, you realize that it is not as hard as it is always, proclaimed. So, what is the
Okay.
first thing we're going to do? The first thing we are going to do is just as we link our CSS inside our HTML so that whatever styling we are doing will reflect. That is the same thing we are going to do in this regard. We are going to link our JavaScript inside our HTML, right? So how do we go about that? How do we go about that? Now, the first thing I would like you to know that all these things that we are doing now, we did not create like it is just us dropping work on this HTML. Now, what is the standard way of starting your code in an HTML file? Now, let's get all this. cut off. Now, the first thing, the way it is being typed, the way it is being arranged. Now, here is it. I'm going to click on my shift and figure one. This will bring me this exclamation mark, right? So instead of me typing it one after the other, I just click on my enter after clicking on my exclamation mark. So it is going to generate everything for me. Now let me do this again. Let me do this again. I'm going to click on my shift, press it down and click on one at the same time, right? So then I'll click on my enter. But if you want to type them one after the other, you just type them as they are. But I don't want to go through the stress of me typing one after the other. Just type it one after the other as it is. This document type and blah 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 blah. Now, what are all these things? Before you start your HTML, like you professionally start your
Your,
HTML
excuse me, your screen is static. I
structure,
don't know. I don't
this
know.
is how it is being started. You have your first one, your document type. What is your document type? Of course, you are working with HTML. So definitely your document type is HTML, followed by this HTML language. The language being used is English, which is this abbreviation you are seeing, EN, that's English language, right? Then followed by your head. Head, this is going to take the title and information about your website or application, right? This is going to take information about your website or application. This is what is going to show when you load your page. When you load your page. Now, I won't change this document, this title document yet. You will see when we load our page what is going to be at the web or space bar. So we have all these meta viewport, blah 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 blah. These are the informations that comes along with this document type HTML, right? So after our head, we have our body, which is everything we've been doing all this while. We didn't have this structuring while we were doing our whatever we were doing, but all those things we're doing are actually the body of the of the HTML, the content of the HTML, the main body. That is all what we are doing. And you see all these things, they are inside this HTML tag. They are inside this HTML. Everything is inside this HTML, right? It is not outside. All this head and body, they are inside the HTML tag. So everything we've been doing then, I will have to paste them back. Now, let's go to our web page. Because we already have all these properly structured now, we won't need to be reloading now because I'm using live saver. You can see, look at the space bar here, it changed to document because the title we have here, which was generated for me, was document, right? Title. So we have document. So you can give it any name. That you are creating a website, you give it the website name. You are creating an application, you give it an application name, or whatever you are creating. That is what the title is. Now, what can we give us? Let's give it web development class. Web development class, right? You can see I didn't even load it and it's already changed to web development class. So that is the title here. So it is very important and essential. Whenever a newborn is, loading your website and trying to see what you have created on the web page, whatever you have here is what is going to display. So it is very important to give it a kind of title that comprehend what you are building, so that anyone that is even viewing it will be able to navigate, that is navigating through the website, will be able to know that okay, this is what this website is all about, even before dwelling into it, right? So now we already pasted everything we've done. Remember, I said everything we've done, they are inside
Body.
yeah, inside body. But please let me remove all these ones. They are meant to be before the body tag. The link, the style.css that we link, they are meant to be
Yeah.
inside,
Right.
outside the body tag. Yes. So because I cut them together. So let me just do this. I'll cut it and I can put it under my title. Any link, you can have different things you link, right? Because I removed it, you can see the styling had to go away. So
Yes.
now that I've pasted it back, it is here back. So that is one of the importance of using Lifesaver to view your code. You won't have to be going loading the way we were going back and loading because we didn't have this structuring. That was why we had to be coming here to be loading because really we've not like the server could not really get what's it called, how to translate it for us without reloading. So now that we have this structuring, we won't have to be going back to be reloading and wasting time. So now talking about how to link our JavaScript. In this case of style.css, we linked it inside our head, inside this head tag, right? But for our JavaScript, we have two ways we can use to link it. We can link it immediately before the closing tag of this body tag, or we can link it can be the first thing on the body tag. We can link it here, the first thing here, or we can link it immediately before the closing tag or body tag, which is usually used, commonly used, right? The one that is commonly
Yes.
used is to link it immediately before the closing tag of this body tag, right? Now, before we link
Yes.
it, what are we linking? We have not created a file. We are going to create a file, right? Just as we created all this file, we create a file for JavaScript also. Now we are coming to new file. What can we name our JavaScript file? You can name it anything. Just know that since all these ones they have the prefix of whatever coding you are doing, our JavaScript is also going to have .js. Very, very
Yes. Yeah.
important. Whatever name
Yes.
you want to give it, it has to have a suffix .js. That is what is in the browser that says this is a JavaScript. Now let's say we want to name it index.js, right? So now we have a JavaScript file. Now we are good to go. Now going back to our linking, we go to our index.html. Everything is being linked inside our HTML. Remember, it is the structure, bedrock. So we are linking everything here. Now, instead of using the link tag in the case of CSS we use link, right? But in the case of JavaScript we use script, right? The script, it has an opening
Yes.
tag and a closing tag. So inside the script we have our source, right? It is now inside the source that we are going to bring in our file index.js. That's all. Now we have successfully linked our index.js. We have successfully linked our index.js. Any questions so far?
No, it's good. Understand?
All right. Okay. So moving forward now, we said so the first thing we want to talk about now are variables. Variables. We said variables are used to store data values. Variables are used to store data values, right? And we said JavaScript uses these following variables. We have the var, which is variable, we have the let, and we have the constant. These are the three main variables that JavaScript is known to use, right? Now, now, this var we are talking about, it's function scope, like it functions as scope, and it can be redeclared. That means you can have var whatever, and you can still have that whatever being declared again. It can be redeclared. In the case of let, It is blocked and it can only be updated, but it cannot be redeclared. When we start practicalizing, you understand what we meant by can be redeclared and cannot be redeclared. Now, this const, it is a block code also, and it cannot be updated or redeclared. Can you see it? The first one, which is the var, can be redeclared. It is, it is a global something. You can also always redeclare it. But this let, it can be updated but not redeclared. It
Okay.
can be updated but not redeclared. But in the case of this const, constant, when something is constant, it is just static. It cannot be updated and it cannot be redeclared. It cannot be updated and it cannot be redeclared. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So how it is being used, an example is for the let, we can have let name equals John, right? You can have const age equals 25. You can have var name equals John also, right? That is how variables are being declared. That's how variables are being used, right? Now, talking about data types. Data types. Now, what are the data types that can be used in JavaScript? We have series of bits, we have the string, we have the string, we have the string, and the string is always in quotation. String is always in quotation. Now, this example that we gave now, let's name equals John. If you are being asked that what data type is this John, you should be able to know that this John is a string, right? How did you know that this John is a string? Because it is in quotation. Are we cleared?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, fine. Now we have another one which is number, just our numbers. Now we have const age equals 25. If you are being asked that what data type is this, you should be able to know that this data type is a number. Is a what? A number, right? So it's just as easy as that to identify. A string, it always comes in quotation. And number, just the usual number that we have, and they are not in quotation. They are not in quotation. Now we have boolean. Boolean is a question of true or false. A question of true or false. That is boolean. That is boolean. And one beautiful thing about this thing is you can always join a string and number together. You can join as more than one data type together. Okay, we can join one data types together. When we start practicalizing, we will see how we can manage to join all these data types together. So we have another one which is null, right? Null, just a normal null. You don't have an answer. The answer is not there. That is a null. We have undefined, a declared variable without a value. It was declared, but there was no value attached. What are all these? John and 25, they are values, right? They are
Yes.
values. Fine. So in the case of undefined, it doesn't have a value. You just declare it. Let's name equals nothing is here, right? That is undefined. It wasn't defined. It doesn't have a value. Another one, we have objects. Objects, they are like we have key, we have value. The value will always be in front of this um colon. This colon is colon, right? So we have this, and we have array. Array, it has more than one, one value inside it. It has more than one value. It has series of values inside it, and that is an array. Now we will soon go into practicalizing it so that you understand better what we are saying. Now we have operators. Now we have talked about variables, data types, and operators, because when we want to start practicalizing, we'll always use variables because we want to declare, we always use data types and operators so that when we start practicalizing, you understand what all this is. Now, operators. We said operators are symbols used to perform operations on variables and values. They are symbols used to perform operations on variables and values. Series of it. The first one, we have arithmetic. We have arithmetic just as it sounds. Arithmetic in mathematics, we have addition, subtraction, we have multiplication, we have division, and we have module. Now, the addition, just the normal sign of the addition, plus, 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 right? We have, okay, let's try this and let make you see what index.js. So we have addition. This addition now is like having let a equals 13, right? Now we now have let b let b equals, let's say, 12. So let c equals a plus b plus b, right? Now you can now
Yes.
have documents document dot write c. Now, what is the translation of this? Oh, no, no, no. This document dot write and console dot log will explain it for that. I just want to show you the practical aspect of this addition, subtraction, and all. So we have addition, right? Arithmetic. The
Yes.
first one is addition. So just like the normal addition, we have let a equals 13 and let b equals 12, right? Now we say let c now equals a plus b. That means we want to have a plus b, 13 plus 12. We now say console dot log c. That means since c is a plus b, what we want to console dot log is 13.12, right? Now let's see what this is giving us. Now we have our console.log here, right? Console. You can see what our console is giving us. 25.
Yes.
25. You can see it. 25. I don't know why my document.write is, instead of coming to console, let me check my document.write if it's going to work here. Documents dot. Okay. My document.write is also working actually. So you can see we have 25. So that is just normal addition, right? The same thing if it is subtraction. Let's say we have a minus b. Let's see equals a minus b. We have a minus b now. This is going to You can see we have one, right? We have one.
Yeah.
So the same thing if we have every other ones that we have here. So the same thing if either of these is being used. So the same thing if either of these is being used. We have the multiplication that's going to give us a times b, and we have division that's going to give us a divided by b, and the same thing module. This percentage here is called module, right? So the same thing if we have that module, it's going to give us a module b, that's a percentage of this, right? So
Yes.
those are the ones we have. Now we have assignments. That's assignment operators, right? Assignment operators, this usually means plus or equal to, plus or equal to. So we can assign let A, equals 13, let B equals 12, and we are going to have let C equals A module B. That's A percentage of B. Just as we have this here, we can have A module B. You can see we are assigning each of these. We assigned A to 13, right? We assigned B to 12, and now we assign C to A module of B, right? So that's an assignment. That's assignment. And when we say equal to here, it is different from, you see, this assigning, all these signs here now, this equal to that we are calling equal to, we are assigning, we are assigning. But when we are talking about equal to, like comparison, this brings us to comparison. These two equal to now, these two equal to is what is being known as equal to in coding. Like
Okay.
having, yes, A, we are having two equal to B, right? Now, if you are now saying is A equal to B, what would be your answer? Is A equal to B?
No.
No. Fine. A is not equal to B because A is 13 and B is 12.
It's
So A is
well.
not equal to B. But in this regard, as the normal layman will say A equal 13, B is not equal to, it is an assignment. We are assigning. A is assigned to 13. So anywhere you see A, the figure there is 13. It's 13.
Okay.
But for this, it is equal to, like, is boy equal to girl? No, because
No.
boy is different from girl,
No.
right? We have,
Yes.
if we have, let's ask now if A equal B now. We'll see what the server will bring. This now we are asking if A is equal to B. Now it is a question. Let's have a question mark. Let's add a question mark. Now console.log. Yes. Console.log yes. Or console.log no. Now this console.log yes. Let me put .log. It's going to be in a string, right? Now let me ask, this console.log yes and console.log no is what type of data type? Is what type of data type? Are you speaking? Because I can't hear you. I can't tell you if you're speaking. Are you speaking?
You said?
Oh, I can't hear you again.
You hear me?
I don't know why this network is always behaving like that. Now, this console, no. Now, this console.log that I'm asking, the data type
Yeah.
that I'm using here is going to be attached to a boolean, right? Because a boolean is true or false, yes
Yeah.
or no, right? So it is a boolean.
Yeah.
This is a boolean, right? Console dot.
Yeah.
So that's what I was asking, so that you'll be following up. So I said, is A equals to B? Console.log yes or console.log no. So let's check what we have here. If A is equal to yes or no. So we want to use our def tool, console, our def tool. Now our console. Oh, sorry. Let me just comment this out. Okay. Sorry, let me use console here also. Console.log. Okay. So what's the uncle type error? Console.log. Please, let me just remove this. I don't know why this one is giving error. Okay. So so can you see what we have here? We have false, which is no, right?
Yes.
And we have false, which is no, which is no. So that is what this equal to is. This is main equal to. When they are talking about okay, equal to, this is equal to. But all these ones they are assignments, right? They are assignments. So now moving forward, we have different equal to. We have this is equal to, right? Now you will see that this one we have three equal to's. 1, 2, 3. Unlike the first one, we have two. And we said when you have two equal to, that is when we say it is equal to. When you have two assignments, that is equal to. But now we are having three assignments. What is three assignment? Three assignment means it is a strict equality sign. Do you get me? It is a strict equality sign. That
Okay.
means talking about these two assignments now, you can bypass some things. Maybe there are some areas there you can bypass it, and the server will give you just a normal. The server will not check deeply. Okay, it can
Yes.
even bypass some things.
Yes.
So it won't be strict in checking all those codes you have there. But so when you have theory, it has to be very strict. It's going to check the in and out of the code to give you exactly like it's going to be. That is why it is called strict equality. That is what this three assignment is called. Strict equality, right? It is a comparison sign. Okay. The first one is equal to, while these three ones is strict equality. And we have this one. We have exclamation mark before two assignments. Sorry, before equal to sign. That is strict equality also. But this first one, it means not equal to. Not equal to. Do you get me? Not equal to. You see this first one we have here. Let's do something of such here now. Exclamation mark and equal to. Sorry. And equal to. Exclamation mark and equal to. This means A is not equal to B. What is going to be our response in the console.log? Of course, it's going to be yes, because A is not equal to B.
Okay,
Now
okay, I
let's
get you
check
now.
what we have here. Can you see it? True, true. Now, because A is not equal to B, so we have true. Do you get it? Fine.
Yes.
So this is equal to sign, not equal to sign. Now, what is this one with two equal to? We have two assignments here, and we have exclamation mark, and this means it is also a strict equality sign. Just as we have this one to be strict ones, this one is also strict, and it is a strict not equal to sign, right? It is a strict not equal to sign. So, and we have this one greater than and less than, just as if we say A is greater than B. Of course, is A greater than B? Our answer is going to be yes, because A is
Yes.
13 and B is
Yes.
12. So A is greater than B, right? So let's see. You can see we have true. True. A is greater than B. We have true, right? But if we
Yes.
now say A less than B, is A less than B? A is not less than B. That's
No.
false, right?
Yes.
That's false.
Yes.
So that's just as we have in normal mathematics, right?
Yes.
So now we have logical operators also. This logical operators. What are logical operators? We have two basic logical operators. We have or, and the second one we have and. We have or, we have and. Those are logical operators. Those are logical operators. Now, or, that means one of the statements is true. For or, one of the statements is true. For and, all the statements is true. Now, do you get it? This are our first sign now. It is and. It is
Okay.
what? And. Yes, that means when it is being used, that means all the statements is true. All the, and now leave that place. Is it? That means all the statements is true. But this second one here, this one there that we have here is called and, is called or. Or. That means just
Okay.
one of the statements is true. One of the statements is true. Now, let's do
Yeah.
something. Let's say, let's, okay, let's comment all this out. That it will not be giving us error. Let's comment this out. Now, let's say, let's go, let's go equals, equals. Now, what data type is this that I'm typing, Absalam?
Said?
I said, what data type is this that I'm typing?
Say swing.
This Mariam, thank you. It is a string because it is in quotation. Fine.
Yeah.
Now, let's girl equals Miriam and let's boy equals Abdusalam. Okay. Now we have let girl equals Miriam and let boy equals Abdusalam. Now let's say if I'm just trying to practicalize this, so because all this if statement and all, we are supposed to explain it before using it. But just
Okay.
to let you understand all these operators, we are going to explain them further as we are going. So let's say if A, now we are going to have double equal to. That means if A is equal, right? This is not assignment. This is equal to, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fine. So
Yeah.
let A equals Miriam. Let A equals B. Now, and remember, this is our and sign. and girl equals boy. And girl equals boy. Now, let's console.log. Console.log. You are in, right? No, this you are in is meant to be in quotation. You are in. Okay.
Oh,
Without from the sheets. Else console.log. You are out. Now, what is this saying? This is like when the server, there are some websites that when you are in them, it will ask, it will want to confirm if you are not a robot, right? It will say if you confirm you are not a robot. How did they even always type that thing? So it says let girl equals Miriam and let B equals Abdulsalam. So if A is equals to B and B is equal to A, console.log, you are in. Else, console.log, you are out. Now, what do you think the answer is going to be at Salam?
out.
Okay. Um, okay. Let's uncomment this. Can you see? You are out. Why are you
Yeah,
out? Because A is not equal to B and
yeah,
B is not equal to A,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
So had it been A is equal to B now, it's going to be you are in. But A is not equal to B, so you are out, right? So
Mm,
that is that about logical
okay.
statement, right? And if it is, remember it says for and, that means all the statement is true, and for or, just one of it is true. But in this case, it is and, right? So now let's move forward now. Let's keep
Mm,
dwelling here. Now we have control flow. Control flow determines the order in which code is executed, right? It determines
yeah.
the order in which code is being executed. Now, what is this saying? First one, we have conditions. We have conditions like conditional statements, right? We have condition, JavaScript condition. Conditions, they are used to perform actions based on different conditions. They are used to perform different actions based on different conditions, right? Just like
Mm,
this one now. You can see the first one talked about is if statement, right? We have different ones. Oh. We have if statement, we have else, we have else if, we have, as you are going, we'll keep talking about them, right? Now, this if statement, the if statement is used to specify, just like this one that we did. We specified it. If A is equal to B and girl is equal to boy, console.log this and console, or else console.log out. That is an if statement. It is used to specify. You don't have to beat around the bush. It is used to specify. Now, let's take another example of this if. Let's say var, hey, let's use var in this. Let's say var age equals from um, that means prompt. That's what the server is going to write, right? Prompt. Let's say, please enter your age. Sorry, this please enter your age is going to be in quotation. Please enter your age. Oh my god. Please enter your age. Please enter your age. Now, if age, if age, you can see that means this prompt means that is what the browser is going to ask. Please enter your age, right? It is a prompt. It is a question that is going to the browser is going to ask you to say, please enter your age. That's why we have prompts here. Prompt is a question, right? Okay, it's
Yes.
the default. Can you message, right? So now, please enter your age. This browser will ask. So now I want to tell it that if the age that the person is going to enter is greater than 18, if the age is greater than 18, then alert, alert, you are an adult. Okay,
Yes.
you are an adult. You are an adult. Else, remember, we say we have if, else, right? Now we have else. Sorry, give me a minute.
Hello.
Yeah, sorry, give me a minute, please.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, I'm back. Sorry about that. So, I believe you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
So, we said if age is greater than 18, alert, you are an adult. Else, that means if that age is not up to 18, is not up to 18. That is why we have, that is the meaning of having this else, right? Just as you have
Okay.
in normal English, else. So, if it is not 18, you are alert, you are not an adult. Alert, you are not an adult, right? Now, let's go to what we have in our browser. Can you see? Please enter your age.
Yes.
Can you see it? After the first thing, just like some this thing. Oh wait, let me cancel it and reload this. Let me cancel this. Okay, just like some websites that they always specify that it's not for children, it is for adults. That before
Yeah.
the site can open, they have to ask your age. Can you see? Please enter your age, right? Now I'm going to enter 20. Okay, can you see? You are an adult because the
Yeah.
age I entered is greater than 18. I'm an adult, right? Now let's enter something smaller than 18. Let's enter 5 years. Can you see? You are not an adult. Can you see it? You are not
Yes.
an adult. So you can decide to build a website or an application where you want it to be specifically for adults. So you further ask the question, this is how it is being used. If statement, right?
Yeah.
We call it if statement. It is used to specify. You can say we specified it. If it is greater than 18, we specify. And if it is not, alert this, right? So
Yeah.
can we
Okay.
take one more example of this, or you understand it clearly now? Are you there?
Yeah.
Should we take one more question for this,
No,
or we
it's
should?
clear. I understand. Can go ahead.
Okay, all right. That's good to know. So that's the if statement. It is a very interesting topic, right? So now
Mm.
we'll be moving forward to switch, right? We'll be moving forward to switch. Now, what are switch statements? We said they are useful for multiple conditions. They are useful for multiple conditions. And this switch statement, it works like else if, but it evaluates expression. In this case of switch statement, it evaluates expressions, right? And it adds break before the next case. Like, see these ones now, they are cases, right? If this is this, it is a case. We have else, console this,
Mhm.
it is a case. We have this var age equals this, it is a case. This is one case as it is.
Yeah.
We have the next case here, right? But in the case
Yeah.
of this switch statement, instead of us just having it else this, no, it always have break. See it here, it has break. After you have your value, let's say this is our first value, var age is blah blah blah, right? And we have
Yes.
our code block. This is our code block. If age is this, that is our code block, right? Now before we now have else and this, we have break, just as it is being typed, break and this semicolon. That is the difference between the switch and if.
Mm.
Now let's take an example. Let's take an example. Now, let's say let's say let's use pets. Let's say let pets prompt. Remember, when we use prompt before anything, that means it is what the browser is going to ask, right? Just as
Yes.
we have prompts. Please enter your age here. So let's have the same thing here. Let's say enter your favorite pet. Enter your favorite pet, right? Now we now have, in this case now we have if, right? If, but in this case, what are we going to have? Switch, because we are talking about switch. Switch pet, switch pets, um, and case dog, right? We have dog. I hope you are following.
Yes.
This is going to be this range. No, no, no. Yes. So we have case dog. That means if we type dog, if we type dog, alert. Mm, alert. My favorite pet is dog. My favorite pet is dog. Is dog, right? That means if the person types dog, alas, my favorite pet is dog. Okay. So now
Mhm.
we want to have in another case, right? In the case of this if now, after having this alas, this my favorite pet is dog, we'll have else just as we have in if. But
Yes.
in the case of which, we are not going to have um else. So what we are going to have now, we want to have another code block. So remember, we'll have our break first. Remember, we have our break first. So we now continue. Case. What's the case we are having here? We are having the case of cats. Cats, right? Cats. So now, cats. If cat is being typed, that is what this is saying. If cat is being typed, you alert. My favorite pet is cat, isn't it? My favorite
Yes.
pet is cat, right? Now we can decide to have different ones, right? You can decide to have another case, but before you have another case, you have your what? You have your break. You can decide to create another break and have another case, right? But now, if you now do not have any, that's default. That's default. This default is telling us that, oh, you don't have any this thing. What is going to alert? Is going to alert I don't have a favorite pet. I don't. I don't have a favorite pet. Now, before we check our console, alert. Sorry, I was checking why we have this here. Okay, so now you would see that the function is like the if, right? Just like we have with the if var age equals this, let pet equals this. So if this is this, alert this, else alert this. So for this switch now, if um your pet, if your pet is a dog, alert my favorite pet is dog. If your pet is a cat, alert my favorite pet is cat. You can decide to have different ones also. But if what you now have is not part of what we have in our code base, then you alert I don't have a favorite pet. Now let's check our browser. It is loading. It is loading. Okay, sorry. Let me comment this part out. Oh, it is telling me there is an error here. Now, what is the error? This one is supposed to be this. It's supposed to be this. Okay. And this is also supposed to be this. Okay. Can you see? Because of that very slight error
Yeah.
that we had, it wasn't printing. The first one that I did, that I put that what's it called? Curly brackets. It's meant to be just a bracket. So it
Okay.
says enter your favorite pet. If I enter cat, if I enter cat, can you see? My favorite pet is cat.
Okay.
Enter dog, dog. It's going to be my favorite pet is a dog. Now, let me enter what is not in the code base. I don't have lion in the code base, right? Nice. I don't have a favorite pet because I don't have lion listed in my code base. Can you
Okay.
see how it is? Yeah. So
Yeah, I
all
see.
these, you won't use your index.html to, create this. You can see this is a functionality. You are making the website to be functional. You are asking a question. Just the HTML and CSS will not give it this functionality, right? So I believe we can move forward, right? Or do you want us to take one more
Yeah, I
question?
understand. You can go ahead.
Okay, okay. That's very good. So moving forward, we have what we call loops. Talked about conditions, switch statements, and now we want to talk about loops. Loops. Now, what are loops? We have different types of loops. We have the for loops, we have the while loops, and we have the do while loops. Right. Now, these JavaScript loops, they are used to execute code repeatedly. That means it is used to iterate a piece of code, right? It is used to iterate them repeatedly, repeatedly. Assuming we want to print number 1 to 10 now, instead of us writing A equals 1, 2, 3, and we are now counting to 10, we will just declare the variable and use loops. Okay, we use these loops to generate the numbers. Now, we say we have for loops. For loops. Now, for for loops, firstly, we need to declare our variables. And after declaring our variables, we'll now put our condition. What do you want these variables to do? That's when the condition comes in. Okay, I want these variables to print from 1 to this number. That's the condition we are giving, right? So now, let's try it out. For for loops, we have for let's okay, let me just copy this out. Okay. Now we have for let one equals let I, sorry, this is not one, this is I. Let I equals 0, and we have I is greater than 5. Semicolon, we have I plus plus. You see this I plus plus, it means increment of 1, right? Increment of 1. That means when you have I plus plus, we want it to increase by 1. After 1, the next one should be 2, the next one should be 3. That's the increment we want. That is the meaning
Okay.
of this I. Yes, that's the meaning of that I. So if we have this now, That means what we are telling the browser is that it should print from number is 0. This is our initial, right? We want you to print from number is 0 down to number 5, because we said I is less than 5. Remember when we were treating our arithmetic, right?
Yeah.
We talked about greater than and less than. So we already give this our I an assignment of a 0. That means this I is 0. And we said I is less than, remember this is a less than sign, is less than 5. So this I plus plus, we want you to be printing it, adding 1 1 to this our initial. That means after 0, have 1. After 1, have 2 until you get to 5.
Yeah.
You can decide to have let I equals 5, and we have I is less than 20. That means the first number here is going to be 5. And we already said our 5, which is our assignment to I, is less than 20. So we have I plus plus. That means we want it to be printing from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah. On to 20.
Exactly, to 10. So now, let's check our browser. Okay, it's console.log that we have. Let's go to our insert and go to our console. Can you see it? It's starting from 5. Are you there? 5, 6, 7. So instead of us to be going through this stress, we'll start typing in our HTML because we want to print this number out. We'll now go to our HTML. We'll be typing P on this 5, 6, 7, typing. What if we want to have numbers from 1 to 1 million or 1 to 100,000? This makes it
Okay.
easier. If we can have numbers 5 to 200 instead of to now start typing it from one after the other, one after the other. It's going to you can see it's generated it to 199, right? You can see
Yes.
from 5. You can see, so you can have any number you want to have there. You can see how easy it is. Look at just 2 lines of code generating all these numbers for you. Can you see? That is why we said the
Yes.
JavaScript book. It is a repeated something, right? When you want to have a repeated numbers, a repeated lines, then you bring in your loop, right? You execute code repeatedly. Can you see it? So that is the
Yes.
for loop. That is the for loop that we just explained. Now we can also decide to have for numbers, right? We can say const number, const no, let's say my colors, const my colors equals let's say red, red, oh no, red. Let's say we have yellow. Let's say we have blue. You can see everything is strange. You can see, right? So blue, and let's say we have green, green, right? Now, one thing you should know is when you have something like this and we want to give it a unit, that means we want them to have numbers. This first one is 0. This first one is 0. This yellow is 1, 2, 3. So we won't say how many are the colors we have here. They are not 4, right? Because we are starting from 0. So you won't say this green is number 4. No, it is not number 4, it is number 3. So for any and every one, it has the first one to be 0. right? You should note that it has the first one to be 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, note that.
Yes.
So now have these, and now we already declared our variable, and the variable we declare is const my colors, and these are the colors that we declared, right? Now for, remember, we are treating for loops, so we now say for item in my color, the item in my color, items in my color. Now let's try document.write if it will not roll, because we already tell it that what we want it to do is items in my color, right? Document.write. I don't know why my document.write is reading this one. Item. I don't know why it is reading out my document.write. Let me see if it's going to print it. Oh, okay. Please let me just comment this out, because if it keep asking and delaying us. So my document.write is not working. Let me try it again. Okay. Let me just use console.log. Okay, so console.log. Okay, can you see it says my color is not defined. Why is my color not defined? That is why one has to be very careful and attentive. Now look at this now. I declared my colors, right? But when I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to ask the question, I didn't add S. I have just my color. That is why it's telling me that my color is not declared, because it is my colors that is declared. Can you see it? So if you have
Yes.
one time mistake like this, in fact, you will keep looking for where the error is. Not knowing it is one slight something that is, pushing this thing. So look at what we have. We already said const my color. We declared our variable, and these
Mm-hmm.
are the variables we declared. Now we now say for item in my colors. That's what we want it to print out. So we console.log the items. Look at, we have 0, 1, 2, 3. You see it? 0, 1,
Mm-hmm.
2, 3. Yeah. So, but if you now want the color, we said items. Now, we don't want just the items, the numbers, the units to show. We want the colors also. In this case, we are going to console.log items
Color.
plus my colors, our variable that we declared. My colors. So, my colors. What do you want my colors? The items of my colors. The items of my colors. Okay, items. Oh, sorry. Item, not items. So can you see it? Is 0 is red, 1 is yellow, 2 is blue, and 3 is green. Can you see it?
Yes.
And if we don't want the 0, 1, 2 whatsoever to show, we can just remove item. So what's going to show? Just red, yellow, blue, green. Can you see how interesting it is?
Yes.
So you can see if you want the numbers, you see we didn't put the numbers, but we want the numbers to be printed inside the console.log. Just add your item, and if it's only the number, you also remove my colors item, right? So this is about the for loops, right? The for loops. So Okay. So now moving forward, we are going to move on to while loops. While loops. Sorry, give me a minute. Yeah, sorry about that. So now we'll move forward to while loop. You see, for while loop, it's it iterates so far as the condition is true. If the condition is true, just as we have boolean true or false, you can see this one is working with boolean true or false. So far the condition is true, it will print out. But if the condition is not true, it is not going to print out. Now, let's say, um, okay, let's copy this. Now, you can see for for loops, we have for blah 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 blah, right? That is how we declared everything. But in the case of while loops, now we have, you can say let I equals 0 while I is less than 5. Console.log I, just like the for loops. The for loops and the while loops, they work almost the same. They work like they follow the same condition. They follow the same condition. So this one, one thing about this one is just that I is less than 5. So of course it is going to iterate, right? Let me show
Mm-hmm.
you what I meant by. Okay, can you see it? It's 0 because we said we already declared our I to be 0. So it's going to start counting from 0 down to 4, right? But now let's say
Yes.
I greater than 5. Can you see that it did not print? Can you see it did not
Yes.
print? That is why
Yeah, I
that is
see.
why it's because we said it will only generate it if so far the condition is true. Now is the condition true now? Is I greater than 5? Is 0 greater than 5? It is not greater than
No,
5. So
no.
definitely it will not print. Unlike the for loop will print either way. Either you say it is greater or it is less. So I didn't know we say it's greater now. It is going to tell us it is not greater than 5 and start our counting from that 5, right? But in the case of these while loops, it is not even going to print at all. That is why we said so far it is true. Now let's go back to the true one. So this one is true now. It is going to print out. Can you see it? Now let's go to do while loops. Do while, which is the third one. Do while loop. So do while loop this one is also work as the while loop, right? But with different structure. This do while it work as this one, but once the condition is true, it's going to print out, but it is not the same structure. The structure is different. You see, for this one now we have for. For this one now we have while. Now for the do while, what are we going to have? We have do. Now let's read. Sorry. Now for the do while, let's say we have let I equals let's use 10. So we say do document dot write I, right? While so we said let's okay, because we already can you see what happened here? Remember when we were treating our variable that we said let cannot be, it can only be reassigned, right? It can only be redeclared. But okay, sorry, it cannot be redeclared, but it can be updated. Look at it.
Yeah.
We already declared it while we were explaining for while. Now we redeclared it again. Can you see what happened? It is showing error. Can you see? It is showing error. That is what it is meant by it cannot be redeclared. So because we already have this let I equals it, we cannot redeclare it.
Yeah. You
Do you
see,
understand
it
now?
will be the same
Ehen.
value.
Yes, that is why it is showing this now. It can only be updated. We can only say, okay, oh, since I is this and that, oh, but to now
Okay.
redeclare it as let I, it cannot be redeclared. Unlike var,
Well,
and
I
if it is var,
understand. It seems that the I can have another value. Can have another value in this.
exactly, but we can't redeclare it as let I, right?
Yeah.
We can't have let A equals 10 and B equals this. And in our next one, we will now have let that A equals another number. We can't give it another value again because we've already given it
Okay.
a value. We've assigned a value to the high. So we can't assign any other value that is different from that is zero. No, we can't have it again. And even it is that is zero that we have now. But we can't have another value that is assigned to the high. Do you get it?
Yes.
So let's
Clearly.
comment out. So you can see when we commented this out now, it is assumed that this is the value of high that we have here. So moving forward, we said let high equals 10. Do console.log I, right? That means you console.log I first, the 10. So, and remember our I plus plus is increment
Mm-hmm.
of 1. That means after 10, 11, 12, right? And up to, let's say, 25. You can see I'm busy. What I'm coming. You can see. So you can see what we want you to type is 10 to 25. But you can see all these all these loops, they have different structure. This is the structure of the for loops. This is the structure of the while, and this is the structure of the do while. Now let's see what we have inside our console.log. Can you see it? It has printed it from 10, right? 10, 11,
Yeah.
12, 13. So we can have to 200 to 1000 to whatever number it is going to print them out. So far, it is true. So far, it is true. So I believe you understand, right? Or is there anyone you
Yeah.
want me to before we go forward? Okay.
No, it's good.
All right, that's good to know. So now we'll be talking about functions and scope. Functions and scope. Now, functions are reusable blocks of code that perform a task. Functions are reusable blocks of code that performs a task. That means a function is a block of code that performs a specific task. It is a block of code that performs a specific code. Now, let's practicalize this. We have function greet. This is a code, right? That is meant to perform a specific action. A specific action. What is the action that is performing? What is the task that we are giving it to perform? Now, let's do this. Now, we have function greet. That is the function. That is the function name, right? We have function greet. Function greet. Now, what do we want it to return? Return hello. Let's say function. We can leave this one as just normal bracket, or let's say function greet me. I want the browser, that any browser should greet me. Or we can have name here, as we have name here. If for a lot of browsers, before you can log in, you have to input your details, your first name, your last name, your email address, your phone number and all. So adibin, you have input your details to log in now, and we already have this in our name. What's the browser going to greet? Definitely the browser is going to print hello with your name. Hello Mariam, because in our code base we already indicated name. And from our
Okay.
form, where you are inputting your names, your first name, last name, phone number, it is a form, right?
Mhm.
Remember the way we created our form. It is a form that is being used to collect your details, your datas. So it is already stored. So the browser is already being told that, okay, this person's name that just registered now is Mariam. So once you enter inside the website, it's just going to greet you, hello Mariam, right? So this is how it is being done. Do you get it? But in this way, we don't have any form. So I'm just explaining how this works, right? So let me just. Okay. It's not called a function. Now, great. Okay. It's showing error. Where is the error? Okay. Okay. Sorry. Console. Console.log. Let's go to our console. Console.log. Console.log. Hello world. Now, so this is a function. This is a function in JavaScript. It's a code of block that perform a specific task. The task that is given is to print out hello world, right? So function greet console.log hello world. Now greet. Can you see it? Can you see
Yes.
this? Okay. We can decide to have that of alert. We can say function greet. We can say no. So function greet. I want it to alert. Let's say welcome to my site. Welcome to my site. Right. So we now have welcome to my site. So that means when anybody first visits your site, this is what is going to say. Welcome to my site. Can you see it? Let's say they
Yes.
have to register before they enter your page. When they first load it, the first thing that it will say is welcome to my site. That is a function. This is different from all these ones that we've done earlier, right? So this is a function. Function. They are not filling in there. In the case of this one that we did, this pet name and this your age, they will have to type in before going to okay. They will have to type in their age or their favorite pet. But in this case, we are not asking any question, right? We are just welcoming them. There is no space bar for input of anything. Okay. So this is a
Okay.
function. It's just a function that is performing a task. We are not asking a question, right? So this is
Yeah.
the example of function. You can have varieties of functions, right? Whatever you want your this thing to print out. So you can see it is just following the same format, right? The same format. Now decide to say, okay, this function greet, we want it to alert hello world. Hello, yes, hello world. So instead of this console.log, so now we move to scope. Scope defines the visibility of variables. Now we have global scope, we have local scope, we have block scope. This global scope, it is accessible anywhere. How do I explain this global scope? It is accessible and you realize in some of your codes, the more the more you try all these things out, you realize there are some particular codes that you will be using across all your websites. An example is a footer. Do you know what a footer is? It is usually at bottom level of your website where you have your social media handles, some of your navigations, and some other things, your copyright. Remember, we treated it, right?
Yes.
That's your footer. Now, if you now have different pages, maybe you have the home page, you have the about page, you have the contact us page, and a whole lot of pages. You realize that when you navigate through all these pages, when you check people's website, the footer is usually there. You will see footer on all these pages. You will see the navigations, the nav bars, the home, the about. You will see them at the top of all these pages. Those are global, right? They are global.
Yes.
So instead of you to start writing the codes when you are writing your code, like when you are in home, you write the code for the nav bar and for the footer. You are at the what's it called about, you write the code. No, it doesn't work that way. Those are you can make it global, that you just need to just type it. You won't even need to copy all the code. You just need to, whatever you use to save it, you just bring it footer. That's all, right? You have your footer
Yes.
there. And everything in your footer like this will, generate there. Those are global. You can access it anywhere. Okay, that's an example of something global. So we have the local scope. They are accessible only within the functions or the block. Now, how do I explain this one? It says only accessible within the function. Just as when we have this, okay, let me use this form as an example. Remember, this form is inside this index.html. It is inside the HTML file. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to access it, definitely you have to come inside this HTML file. It doesn't have anything to do with your index.javascript or style.css, right? That means it is local, right? It is just within this code, within this block, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we have block scope. We say it introduced with let and const. Now going into our index.javascript, this our let is a block scope, right? A block scope. And when we use a const, all these our const, they are block scope also. So that's just what its scope is telling us. It is. So all these scopes now, they make your work easier. They make your work easier and faster, because when you have a global scope that you've already made global, so all you just have to do is just be copying the name, not the
Okay.
code. So instead of retyping for here now, we can decide to say, okay, maybe this let say equals 13, let b equals whatever that we have here. You can see we already use it for console.log a plus b, right? And here again, when we wanted to do another one, that we have let girl equals Miriam, let boy equals Abdulsalam. Now we now say let a, okay, if a equals b and girl equals b, console.log this. Remember, we didn't retype this let a equals this, abi? It is the one that we have here that we are using for this one that we declared. Are you getting me? Remember,
Yeah.
we declared something else here, which is girl equals Miriam and boy equals Abdulsalam. And our question here is meant to be for the boy and girl, right? But we still
Mm-hmm.
went further up. The one we did at the top here, we still came here to pick a question here to ask here. Okay, so this is like a global scope. We can decide to
Okay.
come down here again and do something concerning this let a equals 13 and b equals 12, right? So that's like a global scope. So we don't need to now be retyping. Like we now retype this a equals 13, b equals, so we now retype it under this let boy equals this. No, okay, that's like a global
Mm.
scope. So it just
Okay.
makes your work easier instead of you retyping, going through a lot of stress. No. So
Mm.
now let's go to DOM manipulation. DOM manipulation. This DOM manipulation also is not hard. Once you understand the basics, you realize that it is not hard. So now, what is DOM manipulation? It is an acronym for Document Object Model. It's an acronym for Document Object Model, and it allows JavaScript to interact with and modify HTML elements. It allows JavaScript to interact and modify HTML elements. Okay, what do we mean by this? Mhm. Easy, okay? Okay, thank you. So we have selecting elements. Selecting elements. There are different ways you can use to select an element inside your HTML file. There are different ways you can use to select elements inside your HTML file when you want to modify that element. One of it is by ID. We have document.getElement by ID. That's ID, right? We have document.querySelector, like dot class, and we have document.querySelector all. That's like your div, right? Now,
Mm-hmm.
you said what?
No, nothing. I say yes.
Okay. So like this document dot query selector all, we can use to an example we can use is the head tag or the body tag, like a main tag, right? Like a section. Now, enough of grammar. Let's do something. Now let's go to our index.html. Remember, we said one of it is by ID. So by ID, what does it mean? We are going to give any particular one an ID, right? Now which one should we give? Okay, let's say this related article. Now let's give it an ID. Let's give it an ID of, let's say, let's say, okay, we have title here already. Title, right? Now, one thing you should know about this is you can see this our H3 now. It has what? Related article. That is what the H3 is, isn't it? That is the
Yeah.
text of the H3. Now, one thing about this DOM manipulation, we call it DOM, DOM manipulation. It is used to manipulate, to modify, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever we have here now, when we now do our document.get element by ID, irrespective of whatever text we have here, irrespective of whatever text we have here, whatever we want to have in our JS now is going to override it and change the content. It is going to manipulate it and change the content. Now, let's practicalize what we are saying. Now, we want to modify that H3 that we have there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's say, okay, now this is how we're having it. We want to manipulate it. This is one of the ways we can have it. We have const el, which is const element, right? That is element in HTML element. That is what this el is. So we have document.getElement by ID. What is the ID that we have here? Remember, we have title, isn't it?
Type.
Title, fine. So we'll bring this title inside the ID, title. We are treating this first one, document.getElement by ID, into bracket the ID. So we have bring our ID, which is title. Now, element.text content. That's one of the things we want to change. We want to change the text content to new title. Remember, we have related articles here, right? Now we said we want to manipulate it. We want to manipulate it, the text content, into new title. And we want the element color to be red. Now we have element.style.color. We are styling it again. Irrespective of whatever style we have given it inside our CSS, inside our JavaScript, we want to style it. And all these ones, they are going to override it, right? Now let's see what we have here. Let me remove this function because it will just be showing first ones. So I've commented it out. Okay, so can you see it? Initially,
Yes.
it was related article that is there,
Mm.
but it's changed it to new title, which is the new text content that we have here, and it's also changed the color to red. Now, let's
Right.
say no, we don't want the text content to change. We only want the color to change. Can you see? We
Yes.
said we don't want the content to change. We have commented this out. It is only the color that we want it to change. We give it a red color, right? We can decide that no, we want it to have a background color, of, let's say, black. So we have elements dot style dot background color. Now let's say we want our background color to be um let's say we want our background color to be black. Can you see it? It already gave it a
Yes.
background of black. So these are ways you can manipulate the elements in your HTML file through the JavaScript. It is very interesting. We can decide that even though we have related article inside our JavaScript, no, we want to change it to new title. So it is used irrespective of whatever you have there. It's manipulate it, it will change it, it will override it. Okay, it's going to
Yes.
override it.
Yes.
Fine. That's using title now. So let's now you can see we already use it to modify it, right? Now let's use it to create an element that does not exist before. Let's now use it to create it. Okay, so now this now want to we use it to create a new element that we did not have inside our HTML, right? We did not have it inside our HTML, but we want to use it to create a new element. Now, what is the element that we want to create? Hello world, right? Now, document dot okay, document dot body. Now let's look for where, but to make it easier, instead of us looking for it, we can just okay, see it here, hello world. Remember, we don't have this hello world here at all.
Yes.
Remember, we don't have it now. After the image was the last thing that
Yes.
we have here, isn't it? This is the image. We don't have any hello world here. So we can use our JavaScript to now bring in another word. Funny enough, instead of this one that we have here now, that we just say document dot body, that means we want the text, this paragraph dot text content hello world, to be in body, right? We can decide that no, we don't want it to be in body, we want it to be under this document of get element by id title, right? Now let's copy this. You can decide that this is where we want it to show. We want it to show under this one. We want it to show under this one because we just said body. That is why it is showing on the last page on the body. So let's say we want it to show immediately after this document.get element ID. That means it is going to show under this document.get element by ID body. Okay, body dot append child. Okay, because this is a child element now. Append child. What's our child? Our child is P. Paragraph. Can you see it? Hello world.
Mm-hmm.
Hello world. It is now showing under the title, under the new title that we have. If we want it to show under this image now, we just have to give it this image, either a class name or an ID, or we can also use the element img image. So it's going to show under it. Can you see how we are manipulating all these things now? That's why it is
Yes.
called DOM manipulation. Now, what we did here now is we can decide to add or create new elements. What we did here now is that we created a new element. We added a new element, an element that is not inside the HTML file. So you can use the manipulation for a lot of things. You can see we used it to change a particular P paragraph into another text content. We use it to change a particular text color to another color, and we also use it to create a new element. We can also use it to insert a new text. Okay, we can use it to insert a new text. How do we use it to insert a new text? Just exactly this pattern that we are doing, right? We can decide to say instead of this one now that we say p dot text dot this now, we can decide to say, okay, let me just use something else. We can decide to say const new text, new text, because let's say document.get element, document.get element by ID, right? Okay, document.get element by ID. So let's say the ID that we used, the title, let's still use that one. So let's say the text const text. Let's say we want the text to be I created this with JavaScript. Let's say I created this with JavaScript. Oh no, it's meant to be a string. It's meant to be a string. Okay. So I created this with JavaScript. So let's now say new element. Okay. New text. Document.get elements now. Document.get elements now. Create document.create elements. Now, which element are we creating? Let's say we want to create an H1 element, right? So, to create an H1 element, so we now have const because whatever we want to create. Now, our const, okay, we already have P here. So let's say const P2. We have P at the top. That's why I'm using P2 here. So let's say P2 will now be the element that we want to create it in document. Document dot go. So document dot get element by ID. We have the right. Okay. So no, sorry, we are not supposed to have this here. So now P2, that's the paragraph 2 dot insert. Let's say we want to insert before. Insert before. Which I think is H3, so H3. H3. So what insert before, okay. So what I was trying to do here is to create, we already use it to change a text color and also a text content. So now I want to use it to create a new element, an element that does not exist. So I have const new
Okay.
text because document dot create element. Now what is the element I want to create? I said let it be H1. Now const text. Let me redeclare this new text. New. Okay, sorry, I already declared this. That's why it's showing. So const text should be, I created this with JavaScript. It could be anything. So we have const h3 because this new title, please let me confirm this h3. Okay, this h3 now. This h3 now. Let me comment this out. Okay. Okay, so this const h3 now, that is the tag that I want to create a new element before. This h3, right? And it has an ID of
Mhm.
title. It has an ID of title. So we have it here. Const h3. So we have document of get element by ID. We have title, and we have h3 dot insert before. That means we have to insert it before.
It's finished. It's finished. Huh? It's finished. It's finished.
Trying to check where the error is. It's meant to insert the new element. Well, let's move forward. I don't want this to delay us. But basically, these are what you can use beyond DOM manipulations
Okay.
to do. You can use it to insert text. You can also use it to remove text. You can use it to create new elements and also change colors, background colors and all.
Okay.
So we'll come back to this later. Okay.
What is this?
Okay, so we'll be going to event handling. And we say JavaScript can respond to user actions through events. They can respond to user actions through events. And common events include click, we have mouse over, we have key down, we have submit. This is quite different from the other time that we're treating transition. Remember when we treated transition that we use button, a button click me, whereby you can whereby when you hover on the button, it changes the background color and the text color, right? Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
now talking about that JavaScript, we said they are used to respond to user actions through events. Now, how do we add event listener to our code? Let me use this. Okay, so we have const button equals document.get element by ID. Let me check our button. Do I have an ID? Okay, I have a class of button. Class of button. We want to change this to class name, and this is going to change to button. I think the button is in small letter. Where is it? Okay, yes, it's in small letter. So we said document.get element by class name. We have button, right? So now we'll now be having btn dot add event listener. Remember, we are adding a listener, event listener to the button. So when the button is clicked, remember we said we have different common events. We have the click, we have the mouse over, we have key down, we have submit. So now let's treat the click. We said when the button is clicked, it should alert button clicked. It should alert button clicked. Now when the button is clicked, it should alert button clicked. Okay, button. Let me check. We will have usually um button, right? Plastic button. Okay, let's see. Okay, okay. Something is wrong with me. Okay. Okay, let me just change this to just change this to my keyboard.
I don't know if something wrong, we can fix it in the next class, right?
Okay, okay. Okay, maybe we'll treat this in our next class then. Sorry, give me a minute.
Okay.
Ah, could you believe it wasn't working because I didn't put the semicolon at the back?
Mm,
I just realized I didn't put it the other time. So what I did now, an event listener, we said it is used to add it is used to add events add events to mostly buttons, right? It is used to add to for JavaScript to respond users action through events. So we said we have different event listeners and we said one of it is click, one of it is click. So now we said what we want you to do is const button. We already declared a variable const button. You can give it any name, you can give it my button, you can give it btn, whatever you want to give it. So and remember, we want to document.get element by id. So that means in your inner html, in your index.html, you must have had an id. You must have given your button an id. So I gave it an id of button, right? So this idea
yes.
of button now, I put my id here as the title here. So what I want you to do is I want you to add an event whereby when I click on the button that I gave that id, the background color will change to black. So that's why I have button dot add event listener click. So the function is for document dot body. The body, style and the background color should change to black. I can decide to, so that means when I click on it, the background is meant to change to black, right? Now, the other one that I did earlier, I said I want it to alert me my button has been clicked. So now let's try that also. Add events list now. On click it should alert button clicked. Can you see? Button clicked.
Yes.
Button clicked. So while working with all these things, one just hmm, need to be very attentive to whatever you are doing, because
Yes.
this semicolon wasn't there initially. That's why all these things wasn't working. But once I put it back, and the one here, so everything will work normally, right? So
Yeah.
let me see if we have any other thing here. I think we are, wow, 12:23. Sorry, I don't know. We are 23. We have used 23 more minutes. So in our next class, we'll still talk about it and also
Okay.
touch the rest of the common events that we can have. So do you have any questions so far?
No, no question yet right now.
Okay. So because you have not submitted the last assignment, so I won't be giving any assignment now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Today I will submit it today for sure.
Okay. No problem. I'll be expecting
I
to
want to
see.
be sure of something. Like I'm not a native English speaker. I hope you don't struggle to understand me.
You said what?
Like I'm not a native English speaker. I hope you don't struggle to understand me.
Yes, yes, yes. You said you're asking if I understand you, right?
Yeah.
Of course I do. Of course. Of course.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So I'll stop recording now.
Okay.
Bye bye.